Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Journal 1K podcast. And today you're going to hear from a really, really cool guy, Jon Jeffress from Deep South Focus in Mobile, Alabama, of all places. I think Jon takes the cake for the most annual revenue of a business that has been on the Journal 1K podcast. It is over $500,000 a year in revenue from his business. And years earlier, he started at around $35,000 a year. I don't want to ruin it, but he started off doing one thing, then completely switched. He focuses on real estate now. So this is the real estate photography niche, and he has drones. When he added drones, he told me they added over 100K in revenue to their business just from drones. So I thought that was a really cool stat. But Jon is a great example of someone who pays attention to what's working, adjusts, pivots, and then reinvests back into his business. We talk a lot about different things he's done where he's put money back in, whether it's to make it easier to check on his website or hire new team members or whatever it is to allow him to continue to grow. Super, super nice guy. Just a great episode. So if you're thinking about more of the creative realm or real estate media, this is going to be a really good episode for you. So before we get started, I always like to give a special discount to like a workshop or course or something. So since today's episode is focused on real estate, we have a workshop on how to land real estate clients from Instagram. These are usually like little short sort of mini courses. And you can get this mini course for just $1. We try to make them real cheap, the mini courses when we're doing podcasts. So if you just use the promo code podcast, and if you go to the link either below this video, there should be a link in there where you can choose the promo code podcast. If you go to DroneLaunchAcademy.com, go to the top, go to workshops, find the one that's getting real estate clients through Instagram. That's taught by also six-figure real estate media business owner, Dominic Wilkerson. And that's how he got started, was acquiring clients through Instagram. So he talks about his methodologies there and how he did all that. So you can get that for $1. Use the promo code podcast. Also, if you'd like a t-shirt, go to Apple Podcasts and take the time to leave us a review. Just an honest review, whatever you'd like to give it. Screenshot it, send it to support@DroneLaunchAcademy.com with your deets, and we'll get you a free cozy Drone Launch Academy t-shirt. Okay, without further ado, let's talk to Jon. All right, so thanks for coming to another episode of the Drone 1K podcast. I have with me today Jon Jeffress. Thank you for coming on the podcast. Your business is Deep South Focus Photography. So Jon, tell us how you got started with your business.
Yeah, so I'm based in Mobile, Alabama, and I started my photo business more as a side hustle back in 2012 doing automotive photography. We
Okay.
photograph car shows all over the Southeast and travel around with our Sprinter van, and we print and frame the photos right there on site for the folks that have their cars. Again, it was more of a hobby. It was a legit business, formed an LLC back in 2012. I've been growing and growing. In 2019, my job was actually getting in the way of my photography business. And so I took the leap of faith and quit my job and lost all those benefits and went full time to photography.
Awesome.
2019, that was in the spring. Throughout 2019, I was trying to decide what do I do with my weekdays because car shows are only on the weekends. I mean, that is
Mm.
cool, only working weekends. But in the fall of 2019, we had a car show with the tropical storm. And the next weekend, we had a car show with a hurricane, which decimated our income for that month. And that wasn't good. So I definitely needed to decide what are we going to do with our time during the week. Explored
Yeah.
lots of opportunities, looked at cut portraiture. I dabbled in real estate photography a little bit in the past and didn't really think that was a good avenue to go. Didn't think it was worthwhile or enough money, but I decided to go for it. In 2019, in the fall, I started doing real estate photography. And then we all know what happened in 2020. COVID came, car shows got shut down. If I would have done pet portraits, that would have been shut down. But real estate
Mm.
was an essential business. And my business blossomed and grew during the COVID months. And it was just amazing.
Wow. I have so many questions here. This is great. Real quick, I don't know if you're comfortable sharing what level, or maybe you can even just give a range if you want, of how well your business is doing now today. You want to share that, and then we'll go back and we'll dive in a little deeper.
Sure, sure. So over the past 12 months, we've done over 540,000.
That is awesome. And you have a team too, right? It's not just yourself.
Currently, we have a team of 6. Seasonal depends on busier times and slower times, but right now we have
Okay.
6 on the team.
Okay, cool. So like, does that just fluctuate based on you like that? It's not all 6 full time all year long.
Correct, correct. Some are part-time and come and go.
Okay, well, congrats. That's awesome. I mean, I think that's maybe one of the biggest that we've had on the podcast. So that's great that we have someone with your business building experience, and also you've been doing this since 2012, so it's 12 years now. So I think that says something else too about you sticking with it. But let's go back. I want to go back. So 2012, you mentioned you started doing photography of car shows out of a Sprinter van where you'd print them right there. I feel like you don't just wake up overnight and go, I'm gonna go buy a Sprinter van and printers and go to car shows. How did that sort of unfold for you?
Yeah, so I used to restore cars with my father, and photography was a hobby. And one day there was a car show in town, and I decided to go take photos of the car show. And I have a SmugMug website that I always put my photos on to share with friends and family. It had a built-in shopping cart. I never ever intended on selling anything, but
Okay.
several months after that show that I shot back in 2011, somebody bought pictures, and I emailed him and said, "Why did you buy these?" He said, "It's my car." I was like, "That's kinda cool."
Accidentally started making sales?
Yeah, yeah, so I started with this little Epson, lunchbox size 4 by 6 printer, doing car shows, printing just 4 by 6s, and they could order larger prints online if they wanted. But you know how it
Okay.
is, the grocery store, that's instant gratification. They want that 8 by 10 or 16 by 20, but they forget about it because 'cause they're back at work next week. So
Yeah.
we got a larger printer and hauled it around in our SUV with a 10 by 10 pop-up tent and started printing larger prints on site, and eventually graduated to towing around a big 24-foot enclosed air-conditioned car hauler that the customers could come in and look at their photos on the computer. And we had three large format printers, and we'd frame them there on site. And
Wow.
eventually, as it is today, we do it all out of a Sprinter van.
Wow. So you would like set up these big tents and bring your printers and set them up and just
Yeah,
print them and frame them right there? I guess you would do like standard sizes so you could just kind of have standard size frames and
correct.
everything.
Yeah, yeah, 8 by 10s, 11 by 14, 16 by 20s.
What a smart idea. I feel like the printing right there, you can get it right now is probably was probably like a huge
Oh, it's
differentiator,
great.
right? Because
Well, yeah, yeah, our average car show last year is over $3,000.
wow, that's awesome. How much now this is like 10 years. Oh, so you still do car shows as of today?
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay. So as of today, like if you're gonna go buy a print, like what how much are people paying for these prints of their cars?
Yeah, so our average sale at the car show is around 60 to $70. The
Okay.
16 by
Well, that's
20
not
frame print is 125, 8 by 10 is $55.
okay. That doesn't seem that I mean, it seems pretty reasonable, honestly, if you're bringing your car to a car show and that's what yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah.
Alright, so obviously that doesn't necessarily involve drones, but it's more just like on the photography side. Now, what led you into going, "I need to start doing stuff with drones?" I know you mentioned adding drones has added like 6 figures to your business. Is that correct?
So over the past year, over 100,000 has been drone related.
Yeah. So that's very cool, and I'm interested in hearing about that shift. So, did the drones just enter the picture when you kind of started introducing real estate, or did you do them earlier than that?
Yeah, real estate is what triggered that. Obviously, the
Okay.
agents. We're here on the Gulf Coast, so the homes definitely deserve more than ground photos and video. So we do
Yeah.
ground photos and video.
Yeah, and for those listening, sorry, I asked before we started recording, but you're in the Mobile, Alabama area, right?
Correct.
When you decided 2019 to start getting into real estate, how did that come about? Were you just like, "I got cameras, I'm just gonna start randomly talking to real estate agents," or did you have somebody you knew? Like, what was your how did you get your first customer and get into that field?
So I joined a BNI group, Business Network International. I don't know if
Okay.
you've heard of those. They're all over the
Yeah.
country,
Yep.
and joined it primarily because I had intended on starting pet portraiture. And so I was trying to
Oh,
network on that avenue. But in my group were two real estate agents, and one of them asked me to shoot one of his properties. And I did it. And I was like, okay, again, not super thrilled that it's only $130 or whatever it was, but I'll do it because he's in my group. And then in the fall, I saw an online course for real estate photography and bought that, took the course and learned more about it, and decided to go all in with it at that point.
nice, and it just grew from there? So did you get more business from the B&I group, or how did it spread from just
Uh,
one agent? Or maybe another better question to start with is, like, what percentage of your business is real estate now versus other things like, car shows and other work?
yeah, so real estate is 450K of that 540. So
Oh, so it's most of it.
yeah, yeah,
Wow. What a good shift in
yeah.
2019 to introduce that, huh?
Yeah, and so BNI really helped launch me, in my opinion. Obviously, learning to be more efficient at photography and real estate photography made a big difference, but the BNI group, having the networking capabilities to get my name out there, I attribute a lot of our initial growth and success from that relationship in BNI.
Yeah. Now, you probably had the advantage of already being pretty good at photography since you'd been doing it for what at that point, 7 years? Um,
Uh, yeah, 7 years. Yeah.
so how was the learning curve? You said you bought a course to do real estate photography. Did you find it fairly easy to pick up, or was it much different than, photographing cars and stuff?
I found it fairly simple to pick up. It was a lot better than doing pet portraiture, which I dabbled in. Houses and cars don't move; they don't look away when you're taking pictures. So, so it's a lot easier.
Do you still do
The
pet portraits?
We're doing for a charity event, but
Oh, okay. How much do people pay to get their pets photographed? I mean, I don't have any dogs or
yeah,
cats or anything, so I
yeah.
don't know.
So we never went all in with the true pet portraiture business, but if we had it, we were going to be looking in the neighborhood of $450, $500 per session for those.
Wow. Just rich people with pets, and they just want pictures
Yeah,
of their pets?
yeah. I mean, we went in 2019. We went to a pet portrait or pet business conference in Minneapolis, a 4-day conference on the business of pet portraiture.
Get out of here. I didn't even know that was an industry. Wow. Well, obviously, it seems like real estate has worked well for you. And I know Mobile is fairly, there's a good amount of people there, but I wouldn't that's not like a huge metro area that a lot of people think about.
Um,
So,
yeah, it's small.
yeah, the fact that you have that level of revenue, do you find are most of your clients local, or did you have to expand out to get that?
We have a large area. We cover Pensacola, Florida, all the way to Long Beach, Mississippi. So about an hour and a half each way from Mobile.
Okay.
It's not a huge deal. We're kind of at a disadvantage being on the coast. We don't have a circumference. We
Mm,
we have the coast, so we have to go out further to get the same customer
yeah.
base that someone in Atlanta or Birmingham, Alabama would have because
Yeah.
they don't have the coast water.
Well, I think it's saying something too. It's like, hey, you can build a $500,000 business in a not, humongous metro area. So, other people who are listening, that's your geography is not always the best excuse for you to not succeed here. You learned how to do real estate photography. Did you introduce drones right away, or did you start into real estate photography first and then add drones later? I guess what year did you start bringing drones into the picture?
So 2020, in January, I got my Part 107. So it's pretty
Okay.
soon after starting into the real estate side of things.
And then how did you find the Part 107 exam? Not too bad.
It wasn't too bad. I think I scored in the 70s. I don't even remember. I was just happy to
Hey,
pass.
passing grade. You get the card no matter what?
That's right.
Did you get it because, clients were like, "Hey, we want you to do drone stuff," or did you just think of it on your own?
Yeah, I got it because of a request wanting drone.
Okay. Now walk us through sort of on the real estate side, what you offer. Is it, like, all the same? Do you customize for each client? What when you're working with people, what's your typical offering?
Yeah, so we have bundles and packages starting with our what we call the best value bundle that is ground, interior and exterior photos, drone photos, Zillow 3D tour, and 2D floor plans. And so the bundles are big sellers. We also do a la carte. We do Zillow tours, Matterport tours. We do videography, ground and aerial. We do lifestyle photos for the agents if they want to
Okay.
update their marketing.
Yeah. You say your bundles are sort of the most popular. How much do you charge for that typically?
We're in the $400 to $500 range, depending on their base photo count.
Okay. I was pulling up your website too while you were telling me about that. I was, like, trying to look at your stuff looks really nice. Your photos and 3D tours and all that stuff. So sorry, remind me. So the best value bundle is like you said interior, exterior. Does that come with drone stuff as well?
And then drone photos and Zillow 3D tour and a QB Casa 2D floor plan.
Okay. And do you video stuff with that as well? In the
Not,
best
not
value bundle?
that bundle. That's an add-on.
Oh, so that's just photographs
Yep.
and floor plans. Okay. So if they wanted to add on video, how many customers want the video add on?
More and more lately, as the market has slowed down and homes are sitting longer, the agents are
Mm,
investing more in marketing the properties. We do a lot
okay.
of social media reels now. We do some cinematic videos as well.
Okay. When you're social media reels like of the house or of the agent talking about,
Mostly,
like you mentioned lifestyle stuff too.
yeah, mostly of the house,
Yeah.
features of the house. Every now and then, the agents will do an intro in those
Yeah.
videos as well. One agent it hams it up, and she's always in the video throughout, not talking, but just flopping down on the couch or whatever, just doing goofy things. So,
Yeah. Yeah, honestly, I feel like it's good. I've seen, I'm on Instagram and other places, and I see some of these agent videos that they do, and I feel like the ones that get some of the most traction are the ones where they're just kind of being silly or kind of doing some
yeah.
random stuff. I saw one where there was like an agent hiding in each like video, like they would do like a short video pan, and the agent would kind of be like behind a plant or something, just kind of and be like, "Can you find me?"
This one, she was wearing a red dress and had this home had a huge, beautiful walk-in shower, and she walked into it, and the homeowners happened to have red towels hanging in there, so she walked out with this red towel around her head to match her red dress.
That's funny. What would a client or customer pay to add on video stuff?
The social media vertical reels are 125 if they want a cinematic video. Starts at 225 and goes up from there, depending on what features they want in it.
Okay, and then the cinematic video with that, does MLS where you are, do they, like, let you put videos and stuff on there, or is that something
Yep.
separate?
Yep. We have to deliver two versions to the agent, one branded and one unbranded. So they can put the
Okay,
unbranded one in the MLS.
and is that typically the cinematic video that you mentioned? Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah, that's always a question people have is, like, how do I package it and how do I price it and this and that? Do you guys do variables for the size of the house, or is that just usually
We
all the
we
same
ju
price?
we just have a flat rate. We do have add-ons if they wanna talk in the video. Agent intro, outro, where we mic them up is an extra $100. If they want
Okay,
off-site amenities like downtown or the fountain or the pier, we charge extra per location, depends
okay.
on what they wanna add to it.
If they want, like, features from around the area. I would imagine too, you could probably just go grab some of that foot do you do it unique for every client, or, like, do you just, "I'm just gonna go around and collect area footage just to have, and if they wanna include it, I'll toss it in there," kinda thing?
Yeah, we have some that we've collected over the years.
Yeah,
Sometimes it's specific to what they want.
okay, makes sense. So as you've grown a business like this, what kinda challenges were there, along the way? So 2019, I guess, what level were you at in, like, 2019 revenue-wise? I mean, since you added real estate then, and now it's, like, a pretty huge chunk of your revenue, was the revenue a lot smaller back then?
Yeah, so we ended our first full year, it was 2020 because we started in the fall of 2019,
Okay.
and the first year was like $35,000, so it wasn't
Oh, okay,
huge.
wow. Was that
Um,
including the car shows and everything?
that was just real estate.
Just real estate, okay. So still, you're taking it from 35 to 450, right? Something like
Yeah.
that? Or so you got that first year, you joined BNI, got some clients that way. Did it just spread word of mouth, or were people coming to your website and inbound leads, or what was that like?
Yeah, so a lot of good SEO on our website, a lot of referrals from the existing agents, the BNI connection. That very first agent in BNI referred us to an agent who referred us to someone else in our office who happened to be talking to the president of their brokerage, and that got an introduction to him, and then it turned into a big contract with them where they actually pay for the photos if their agents use us.
Oh, nice.
So
That's pretty sweet.
yeah,
Was that in 2020 or was that in a
that was
later year?
2021.
Okay. So how from 2020 to 2021, was there a pretty significant growth? Or did it come later?
2021, we were 104,000 for that year.
Oh, so yeah.
And then our first full year with that brokerage, plus all our other growth as well, we're 296 for the following year.
Awesome. So this seems great. So it's just like a combination of doing all these things right, of making connections and networking, getting referrals, having your website SEO set up well, and it just sort of continue to compound on itself.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. And then we've branched out and done other things with the drone as well because BNI again helped with that, leading us to some commercial clients over the years that have turned
Okay.
into lucrative repeat business as well.
Now, commercial clients for real estate or for other things outside of real estate?
Outside of real estate, we have a commercial port here that does a lot of shipping interest, and we're out there almost every month doing photos and drone video for them
Oh, for the port?
for the sport. Yeah.
Oh, sweet. What I was telling you earlier, I went to Mobile for some school conference stuff. Out of my hotel window, it was like looking at the port. It was downtown. There is some like crazy battleship thing you guys got down there, or some like destroyer, or some navy. Looks like some
Yeah.
navy ship that looks pretty wild. What is that?
Yeah. So if you're looking at your hotel, you probably saw Austal, which is a shipbuilding company that builds littoral combat ships that are really funky shaped.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, that's what those are. They have a huge military contract building those here in Mobile.
Interesting. Yeah, I was just like opened my window in the morning and I was like, "What am I looking at?" It looked like some kind
Yeah,
of spaceship in the water.
yeah,
Um,
upside down spaceship.
yeah. So for the port, are they just interested in that for like marketing stuff or what?
Marketing, internal use. You go into their office and there's huge, like, gosh, they're probably 4 foot um, um, printed photos that they've done of my images over the years, all over their walls, and so it's
Interesting.
pretty cool.
You said you're out there like every month. Do you have like a recurring thing with them or something?
Yeah, whenever they have a special ship coming in, special project, they want to document the operations. They're filming and videoing it.
How'd you get in with the port? Did they just hear about you and then contact you, or is it another connection, or what?
Another connection, my sister used to work for the gentleman that now owns that port, and I saw him at a restaurant one night, and he asked what I was doing. I told him real estate photography, and he said, "Do you do any drone work?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "I'll probably be in touch." And like the next month, one of his office ladies reached out to me, and the rest is history on that one.
So do you have to even like sell these people on stuff, or they just find you and go, "Yeah, I'll just hire you"? I guess they just check your workout, or do you have like a sales process of like, "Here, let me talk to you about this and offer you that XYZ."
That is one of my, wouldn't necessarily call it a struggle, but I really haven't done much to go after the business. It's all fallen into my lap.
It's like the ideal setup, you know?
Yeah.
I mean, you've done other things. So like you haven't done outbound outreach, but it seems like you've done a lot of other business principles in a good way, making
Yeah.
yourself findable and
Taking care of the clients, do right by them, and take care of your employees. They're going to take care of your clients, and all ends up being good
yeah.
for you.
No, that's awesome. Now I have questions on SEO. When you're doing your search engine optimization, were you doing that yourself in-house? Did you hire someone to do that? What did that look like when you started working on your website?
Yep. So I hired a local ad agency to do that. Our
Okay.
landing page, they built the base landing page website to be super friendly as far as Google search and things of that nature. And they do our SEO. Then from that site, it directs you to either our real estate portal or ordering real estate jobs, or our Smug Mug site, which is where all of our car shows are, or my fine
Yeah.
art website where we sell our fine art photos.
Yeah. I'm just looking at your website right now. It looks really cool. So let's do a quick breakdown. You have real estate photography, like your main header on your website, which again, this says we are Mobile, Alabama based creators, specialize in real estate, media production. So kind of have like the location in there, exactly what it is that you do. Now you have an app on here. It says download our app. You have your own app?
Yep, have a mobile app for the real estate side, so the agents can have our availability and pricing in their pocket. So they're at a listing presentation and they get the listing from you as the seller. They can whip out the app and say, "So our photographer can come Tuesday at 3. Will that work for you?" And they book it right there.
Oh, wow. So you can just schedule it. That's awesome. Now, did you have to have this custom built, or is there like a shell of like, hey, we can make you a real estate app and you're just kind of filling in your details?
So there are numerous online systems for real estate photographers to
Okay.
have online order forms and booking and scheduling and photo delivery all on one platform. And the one that we use happens to have the option to add a mobile app.
Okay, very cool. Yeah, it's awesome that you have it on here and you have like screenshots of what it looks like so you can see order a photo shoot now and then you have like order placed. Do you like have the difference? You can see what it looks like inside. I think you do a
Yeah.
really nice job of showing
And,
them what it's like to work.
and then the agents can download the photos that we take the next day from the app and put them straight to their social media as well.
One thing I've noticed about the way you do business, it sounds like you're like, how can I make this as convenient and easy as possible for whoever I'm working with? I mean, like the car show stuff, I'll just print it for you and I'll frame it for you right now. And it just makes your offer much more attractive. Oh, you're meeting with someone, you can book them right then. You can download it right there. How can I make this convenient and simple for you and easy to
Yeah.
do business with me?
Yeah, that's the key. Real estate agents, they have a lot on their plates already. They've got so many balls up in the air. We just make things simple for them.
Yeah, that's great. Is this like an add-on you had to do to get the app? Like, is it expensive or was it like included in what you already had?
It was a one-time $1,000 fee, which is pricey, but
1,000
it more but
$1,000,
more
that's
than,
it?
yeah, yeah, it more than pays for itself.
Yeah. Well, I say that's it. I mean, obviously $1,000 can be a lot depending on what you're paying for, but I feel like I've seen other like software tools, right? And like, oh, hey, you can get an app for this too. And I was like, oh, that's interesting.
Yeah,
It wasn't for courses, but for something else. And anyways, but they were like, yeah, it's $10,000 to have a custom
Oh,
branded app. I'm like, $10,000? I'm like, I don't know about that.
yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty nice. It sounded like it was worth paying this outside company to create your website. And do you still pay them on a regular basis, like maintain all this stuff, or you just paid them to set it up and then they left it?
Yeah, I still talk to them. Usually once a quarter, I meet with them, tell them what I'm looking to grow on. Like one time we focused on drone and industrial stuff, and I
Okay.
got a lot of out of town outreach from national commercial realtors that are needing land done and things of that nature that probably wouldn't have found me otherwise.
And that was because of like work they had done on your site. So worth the investment, you'd say, huh?
Oh, absolutely.
Did you start doing this right away, or did you like do it after already had business coming in?
As far as that particular site you're looking at, we started in 2019. So
Okay.
when I decided to go full time with photography, prior to that, my career that I was in when I did photography as a side hustle, I actually worked for a company. We did website development and
Okay.
services for bicycle stores. So I was already familiar with the benefits of SEO. So when I went full time with my business, I knew how important it was.
Yeah, that's awesome. Do you do much I see a bicycle behind you. Do you do a lot of with bicycles?
I'm a yo-yo. For 2 years, I'll ride seriously, and then 2 years, I don't ride seriously.
Yo-yo. I thought yo-yo might have been a bicycle terminology I was not familiar with, and you're like, "Oh, no, I get it now." I just Googled Mobile, Alabama real estate photography, and you are the very first organic link that shows up, and you show up above Zillow for real estate photographers in Mobile, Alabama. And when I scroll down to, like, where it shows you, like, local businesses or Google My Business, you are also the first. You have 50 reviews, 4.9 stars, and you're all set up there. So, like, your SEO is pretty great for this. I guess, did they set up this Google business section for you too, or did you do that?
I originally set it up, but they've tweaked it.
I feel like I always tell people it's like not a hard thing to do that a lot of people overlook doing, and like Google always prioritizes that too. So,
Yeah,
um,
and speed of the website is super, super critical, and the organic search speed plays a huge, huge factor, and a lot of websites load slowly, and Google penalizes you, and if everything else were equal, if your site's slower, you're gonna fall down in the rankings.
yeah, because they want to prioritize like good. We had that problem because like we would put stuff on our website and it just got bulky and then it would load slowly and then it hurts you. So no, it's smart that you had that and that you had the wisdom to invest into that side of your business to continue to grow. I think it's people feel risky a lot of times. They make some money and they're like, well, I don't want to spend money on this to try to grow because if it doesn't pay off, then I'm out that time or effort or whatever. What are your thoughts on that kind of mentality?
Not want to invest in that.
Yeah, I mean, you just seem like someone who's, "Hey, well, I'm just gonna pay someone to do this, and I'm gonna buy the app, and I'm gonna hire people," and, that those are risky things to a lot of people.
Yeah, I mean, it is a risk, it's an investment, but, I'm even in my personal life as well, I'm gonna pay for the professional to do it. Can I learn how to do it myself? Yes, that takes time, and then doing it myself takes time. Time is
Yeah,
money. I'm just gonna pay someone to do it for me.
that's good. Now, I'm curious, when did you go start hiring outside folks to help you with the business? Was it just you for a while, and how did that transition work?
Yeah, so in 2021 was our first hire in April. We'd been talking about hiring for a while, just hadn't pulled the trigger yet. And I was in a podcast. My local ad agency did podcast, and he did a
Okay.
podcast with me. And I put it on Facebook. And a friend that I hadn't seen in years reached out to me. She actually used to manage the camera store here in town. Hadn't seen her in probably 7 years, and she reached out. She said, "Hey, sounds like y'all are doing great. If y'all ever grow enough to hire, photographers, I'd love to start shooting again." And it's like, bingo, she was our first hire, so she fell into our lap.
Nice.
And then it was right after that that we started talking to that brokerage about them paying for photos for all of their agents, and it's the largest brokerage in town. So it's like, we need to hire more, so we actually hired up to prepare for them and hired 2 more employees in June of 2021, and went from there, hired a videographer in, January of '22 because we knew we wanted to get into videography. And
For these folks, do you just go with like a contractor type basis, or do you make them like W-2 employees? How does
th
that work in your
yeah,
business?
they're W-2 employees,
Okay, cool.
full timers. We do dental and health insurance for our full timers.
How many are there that are full time?
Right now, we have 2 full-timers.
Okay, cool. That's great. I'm curious with this brokerage, is that a common thing where the brokerage will offer to pay for all the photos for the agents? I haven't heard that much.
Not really common. They're forward thinking, and they got tired. They agents are contractors. They're
Mhm,
1099 employees, so they cannot tell the agents that they have to use professional photography,
mhm.
nor who they can use to do their photography. So this brokerage got tired of agents using cell phones and
Cheaping out, yeah.
consistent marketing for the brokerage's brand. And
Right.
so they're trying to think of ways to make things more consistent. And they were like, well, if we pay for them, this should help. And
Yeah.
so they made a big move, and I think it's pretty rare, but they did that. And
Now was that their idea, or did you plant that idea in their head and be like, "You should pay for it and just hire us?"
they came up with the idea.
Oh,
I
okay.
was scheming ways to come up with some discount programs for him, and he was like, "Think bigger." And I was like, "What do you think?" That's what he proposed. It's like, "Hey, we can do that."
Awesome. That's great. I mean, it seems like a pretty good something you could almost like pitch to other brokers. I know it's not as common, but
Yeah,
thinking about it, like it makes sense. Like, hey, if you want your stuff to look good consistently. I
yeah.
wonder, do they take anything? Do they sort of like take it a little bit? Is there like deal with the agents maybe a little bit different to account for the fact that they're providing more like marketing help?
So all the brokerages are different. So some agents work for brokerages that are low investment, but they have to pay for their copies, they have to pay for their cubicle, they have to pay for this, they have to pay for
Oh,
that. Other brokerages, an agent might have to pay $20,000 a year to be in their brokerage, but they get more
mm,
support. I'm not sure what
yeah.
this particular brokerage does.
Somehow it works with their model to be like, hey,
Exactly.
it's gonna increase the attractiveness of working with them because, hey, we're gonna, it's another piece of what they
Yeah.
support their
Yeah.
agents
We're
with.
going to
That
provide
makes
your
sense.
photos for you. Yeah.
Yeah, it's almost like a marketing tool from the brokerage to attract more agents to come work for them. So
Exactly.
and it, hey, helps you out too and give you like a consistent stream. Are there a lot of agents that work for this brokers? Like how many agents are we talking?
They have over 300 agents. Um,
300? That sounds
Right.
like a lot. I mean, I don't know much about brokerages
Yeah.
and stuff, but
Yeah, it's a lot, and sadly, you'd think with that kinda deal that they get photos free that they would be using us, but some of them still use their cell phone. It's pretty pitiful.
really? Why?
No idea.
You need to go sit down and have some conversations with these people. "Listen, what's wrong with you? Just click the button." Oh god.
It's free. Just focus.
Yeah. Yeah. Shoot, they'd make that my number one marketing campaign is, like, going to lunch with all of their agents, be like, "Hey, listen, next time you have your listing, let me walk you through how this works. You just go on the app, you hit this button." Hey, great for you, man. Kudos for setting that up and having the business be able to do it. Again, taking a risk like, "Oh, hey, we're gonna have to expand our capacity, so I'm gonna have to hire some people," right? This'll be scary, so cool to hear what you built. If you were, to kinda start to wrap up a little bit, if you're talking to someone, or I don't know, maybe if you do talk to people that are interested in the real estate media game, whether it's drones or photography, video, whatever, what advice would you give them in getting started and trying to be successful where they're at?
Yeah, just find mentors to help you. Follow the path that others have done before you. Don't reinvent the wheel. If it works for others, do what they do.
Yeah. All right. Well, great. Well, if people want to hear more about you or reach out or say, hey, are you active on any like social media channels or
Instagram, I've got 3 pages. I've got Deep Self Focus. I have
okay.
Deep Self Focus underscore RE for the real estate side. The first Deep Self Focus is automotive and commercial. Deep
Okay.
Self Focus RE is for real estate. And then Jon Jeffress is my personal.
Okay. Cool. And your website is deepsouthfocus.com. Or you can just Google apparently Mobile, Alabama real estate photography and you pop up
Yeah.
number one. At least you did for me. So well, thanks so much, John, for coming on and sharing and taking a, half an hour out of your day to be on the podcast.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. My pleasure.
All right. Take care.